Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Show. It is always a pleasure to come to where you are. This is Mirai Tulekima, your host today. You know me as the Greatness Engineer. And as usual, we will, have a great conversation today. Conversation, I hope will inspire you, because we on this platform will bring you powerful conversation with leaders, change makers, and visionaries who are shaping the world, through purpose, impact, and legacy. And today episode is actually deeply meaningful because it is about history, culture, freedom, and the power of music, and how music can unite and uplift community across generation. And my guest today is, so I'm welcoming Alex Thomas. Alex Thomas is the spokesperson of the NIA, Cultural Center, which is an organization dedicated to preserving and promoting and celebrating African American art, culture, and history. And we will focus our conversation on the fifth annual Emancipation Gospel Celebration Concert. So it will tell us a little bit more about the event, how it started, and what they're really trying to achieve. And it is actually happening in the birthplace of Juneteenth. So I will bring him now, and he will be able to let us know a little bit more about himself, and also about his organization, and and we will also know a little bit about the annual Emancipation Gospel. So let us know where you're watching from, and don't hesitate to comment, to ask any question. This show is for you. Is for you to get inspired, is for you to get to know how people are impacting communities, how people are creating greatness, because that's what it's all about. It's about greatness. It's about engineering greatness where you are. So sit tight. I will recommend that you have a pen and paper, because there's always so much shared during those conversations, and you do want to record the key point, things that you will be able to build on to go to the next level of your greatness. So let's start, and let's have a good inspiring conversation with Alex today. To another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Byron Cage Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily action.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others, and you are not alone.
So welcome, Alex, to the Greatness Engineering Show. It is a pleasure. I'm excited to really, about, the subject today, the topic, and which is about, Juneteenth and also the African American culture and art, everything, beyond it, which is the heart of this particular community. But before we start, I just want you to let us know who you are and also get to give us a little bit more, info about your organization and what what is what work you are doing and, any particular goal and objective that the organization has.
Well, thank you for having me today. My name is Alex Thomas. I am the Director of Marketing and Outreach for the NIA Cultural Center. NIA stands for Purpose in Swahili. So our purpose is to preserve the history and culture of African American history in Galveston, but around the globe. And we preserve that and we share that through art, through education, working with families and communities, but we also honor the people and honor the history that have made this made these opportunities available for us to be able to share not only with the citizens of Galveston, but around the globe.
And we hear about a lot about Juneteenth, but we don't really know. I mean, especially for the global audience, what it is. So is it possible to let us know, give us, you can explain the significance of Juneteenth and why Galveston actually holds such an important place in history.
Oh, yes. So most importantly, Juneteenth symbolizes the emancipation of enslaved people in the U.S. For many years, we celebrated independence through the 4th of July and Independence Day. However, many states in the South had not been aware of the Emancipation Proclamation. And so when the U.S. colored troops, along with General Gordon Granger and other troops, came into the ports of Galveston, their mission was to come and let people know that slavery had been abolished, that, slavery was no longer accepted. And so when they came to Galveston, which is now the birthplace of Juneteenth, that's where that message was shared. It was shared on June 19th, 1865. And so now we're allowed to be able to share and acknowledge and be able to celebrate that history. We just had our 160th anniversary last year, and we're just elated that Galveston still has a lot of this rich history that's still able for people to be able to come out and see. We're now one of the largest cruise terminals in the U.S. And so I try to remind people a lot of times that, we get a lot of foot traffic of people coming into Galveston to take these remarkable cruises out on great cruise ships. But we also have to be reminded that our people were also brought into that same port on slave ships. And so it's how you look at the history, how much we've evolved and how much we can be able to acknowledge and pay homage to the people that paved the way for us to have these opportunities, but most importantly, to not forget that history. And so that's what the NIA Cultural Center is about, being able to share that history and make sure that people don't forget from which we came. And so we celebrate through arts and culture. That's programs that we do each and every month throughout the year to really celebrate art. As you can see in the background, we have beautiful art. We have a gallery that's on the Strand in Galveston, and that's a part of our tourist destination. A lot of people visit the Strand, and we're right in the heart of Galveston. Outside of our building is a 5,000 square foot mural that illustrates the history of Juneteenth from past to present. and it allows us to be able to tell that story. There's also a historical Juneteenth marker that's right outside of our building that acknowledges the space and the activities that took place right across from where we are housed in the history, where we share with a lot of citizens that come through Galveston. There was the auction block. That's where the enslaved were brought into Galveston, brought to that area, and then auctioned off to go to the various plantations or owners that they worked for. And so that's part of our educational story. We continue to tell the story. We bring in great speakers once a month. Right now, we have a great event that we do call our Looking Back Brown Bag Lectures. All of these educational moments allow us to help tell the stories, whether it's about the history of Juneteenth, the history of African Americans in Galveston. There's so much rich history. One of the first ever colored high schools in the state of Texas originated in Galveston. It was Central High School. And so you have the history that's still there. You also have 5 of the first African American churches that originated in the state of Texas. They all started in Galveston. And one of those churches played a significant role in the history of Juneteenth. When they went around to place notices on most of the doors and the businesses to let people know to come out and hear about General Order Number 3, one of those churches that played a pivotal role was Reedy Chapel, AME Church. And it was the first African Methodist Episcopal church in the state of Texas, which still stands. And if you are familiar with the history of that, what took place last year at the 160th celebration of Juneteenth, we had former President Joe Biden come and he spoke at Reedy Chapel. So that's part of the educational component. Just family and community. We have a lot of great initiatives that we gear towards family. One of our events that is happening later this month is a financial literacy event that helps to educate people on how to work with their finances, create generational wealth, be able to educate their children on how to go out and create careers that will benefit their family in years to come. And so we pride ourselves on being able to have those type of events to educate our community as well. And then last but not least, we honor and we pay homage to the history. Each year during our Emancipation Gospel Celebration, we have an award ceremony. And part of that award ceremony is the Champions of Freedom Award. And we also honor people during our Kwanzaa celebration. So we make sure that we recognize those who have done great things in the community, but also who have paved the way for people like myself to be on this platform with you.
And it is important because I just look at because with African background, a lot of the history is still vocal, so it's very difficult to keep that going, and it's very good to have such a center that dedicate time, dedicate resources, and really create platforms and all kind of resources to remember what happened and teach that to all the generation. And I understand that it is a challenge right now in the US as well, where the history books and are not always capturing this this history. So it's important for the community to really fight and be proactive to continue to share this story, to continue to exist as a culture, and to push forward. So we're going to have a break, and then we will come back to discuss a little bit more about the celebration, how it came about, and what are really the objective and the key important thing that are happening during that celebration. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in few minutes. So like I mentioned at the beginning, my guest is Alex Thomas, and he is the spokesperson for the NIA organization. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in few minutes.
Finally, I think I want this world to be a more enlightened, a more just and more equal, and and equal opportunity and equal prosperity for everyone in this world, not just men and women, but for everyone.
Shared core values, shared activities, shared goals, it would actually help to solidify the relationship. And you can also use that as a kind of test for you when you want to get into the relationship. If the person doesn't have shared goals with you, chances are that the relationship is not going to last. If the person doesn't have shared activities, that means you won't enjoy each other's company. You won't want to be with them because you don't want to do the same activity with them. And then if you don't have shared core values, then again, if you have differing core values, that also might just be the beginning of the end.
Every one of us is connected to what is happening in human trafficking. If it's not your immediate daughter, niece, granddaughter, you know somebody that is. One child that is trafficking impacts us globally. So let's stop it and let's all get connected. Your voice matters. You just sharing the message matters. So let's all say that we have a personal mission to stop human trafficking and to make sure that humanity is equal and treated fairly across the world.
Sometimes you're going to be scared and you just got to keep going, even if you're scared, because on the other side of being scared is your goal, is the success. So anytime I'm doing anything, don't think because I have on my red lipstick from the Lip Bar and my hair is perfectly curled that I have it all together. Inside, I'm going, oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm scared the whole time. But like I said, I don't give up. So to everyone out there who's listening, this is an amazing platform because I'm sure everyone who has come on your show has the same type of strength I have, which is not giving up when it's hard and not giving up when they're strong, and just to keep going. And that is what is so important. As my grandmother said, keep on keeping on. And that is something we can all live by.
So we are back. We are back to continue our conversation today. And I just wanted to know, Alex, so there's going to be in June, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to host a celebration, so the Emancipation celebration. So what is the Emancipation celebration? Can you give us a little bit, the vision behind the celebration, and also how it began, and what does it represent today?
Well, the way the event started is through our core values. Our core values for the NIA Cultural Center is to honor, celebrate, empower, and build. And so we were just talking about, we wanted to be able to have some different events. There's a lot of events that take place in Galveston that pay homage to the history of Juneteenth each year, from festivals, parades, reenactments, you name it. And so one of the things that we had talked about was, how do we have a musical event where we also honor and celebrate some of the legacies that had, really shaped and mold not only Galveston, but the history of Juneteenth. And so that conversation started around 2021. And we initially we're just kind of thinking, about music in general. Music is a universal language. It's a unifier, and it allows people to come together from all, walks of life. And so then, more importantly, we thought about, the enslaved and the people, and how Negro spirituals have always been an uplift for our people when we were slaves. You heard about the Negro spirituals out in the cotton fields. You heard about how that music transformed and became some of the original gospel hymns that you heard in churches. And so the more we thought about how we plan an event that would really be a signature event for Juneteenth, in Galveston is we came up with the Emancipation celebration. And so when you think about emancipation, our people were emancipated through Juneteenth, through the being able to come be able to bring in gospel legends. And so from the very first year we started the event, we had none other than Marvin Sapp. And we know that Marvin Sapp is also a pastor, but he's also a great artist in the gospel field. The second year we had Smokey Doleful, who's also a pastor, but who has been an award-winning gospel performer. Our third year, we brought in none other than Fred Hammond, who has been a gospel giant, who started a remarkable gospel group with the commission, but also went on to have a remarkable solo career to win numerous amounts of awards, but he's still recording and still being able to spread the word of gospel through his music. And then last year, we were fortunate for our 160th anniversary to bring in the queen of gospel, Pastor Shirley Caesar. And so each year, I think we've taken it up a notch, and we've always been happy about the response, the community response, the regional response, and now our global response. To be able to talk to you about this event and you're in Australia speaks volumes. It allows us to tell the story of NIA Cultural Center. And NIA Cultural Center, as I mentioned earlier, NIA is Swahili for purpose. And so our purpose is to be able to honor, celebrate, empower, and build. And so having this event, this is our 5th annual Emancipation Gospel Celebration. So we're excited. It's happening on June 14th. We try to have the event, either a week before the actual holiday, because there's so many events taking place on Juneteenth. We want people to be able to come and experience and enjoy the event. The concert theme, we celebrate freedom, faith, and enduring a legacy of Black culture. This year, we're happy to have Grammy Award-winning Karen Clark Sheard, who is one of the original members of the Clark sisters group, with her siblings, her other sisters that were started by their mom. She's just remarkable, and she also has a daughter that goes out and performs as well. It would have been great if we had both of them on the show, but we're happy to have Karen as our headliner this year. We also have the Prince of Praise, the Prince of Gospel Praise, Byron Cage, who has won so many awards and accolades. And we're just excited that he's going to be in Galveston along with Karen Clark Sheard. But most importantly, as I talk about family and as I talk about outreach, I think about how do we reach that younger generation? How do we reach that younger market? Last year, we had a great group called the Walls Group, and that was actually exposed to me by my youngest daughter. She did a praise dance event years ago for my father's birthday, and she said, I want to do this dance. And her and my oldest daughter, they both did the dance, and they did the dance off a song that was produced by Kirk Franklin for the Walls Group called Perfect People. I had never heard of the Walls Group, but that song inspired me to want to hear more of their music. And so last year we were blessed to have them, and they're a young, talented sibling group, 4 siblings, and they live right in the Houston area. And so the oldest brother just won a Grammy Award, and we're just excited about this year's group because I believe that they're on their way to winning multiple awards in the near future. It is a 4-sibling group called the Brown Four. They're based out of Memphis, Tennessee. Their father's a pastor, their mother's first lady, but she's also their manager. And they have been recognized on many shows thus far, like the Jennifer Hudson Show, American Idol. The list could go on and on. But we're excited that they're coming to Galveston, Texas, the birthplace of Juneteenth, for the very first time on June 14th at the Grand 1894 Opera House. And so we're just elated. We want people to come out and support this event. This event helps NIA. We are a nonprofit organization, so any of the proceeds that we receive goes back into the community to help us bring about our mission. And so we're excited. Tickets start at $35. During the ceremony, as the artists perform, we have a segment where we do honor our champions of freedom. And so we look forward to, recognizing individuals each year during the show. And so it has turned into a great event. And I'm just excited and look forward to having people there. And hopefully you can come visit us and be a part of it.
Yeah, it's it looks amazing and quite exciting as well, and just having all the communities, all the the different generation is just amazing. And one question I had, because you talked about the inclusion in this year of the Brown Four, which is really inspiring. I'm excited just for that. I will just buy my ticket and come. So what kind of message that is sent to about the youth and the legacy when you see the inclusion of such important young people into such a grand event?
Well, it goes back, like I said, to our values. Most importantly, our core value is to build. And as we build, there's no way to be able to build a community and not uplift our youth. We have a program that we do each summer called Freedom School. And it is a great program where we allow students to spend the summer months learning about history and culture. That is a part of what our mission is. And so a part of this gospel event is being able to build into the community. And I think the only way that you can encourage a younger artist audience is also to have people that they can relate to. So when they are on their social media platforms and they see all of these great videos that are being shared about the Brown Four, who was just recently recognized in the Tennessee legislative session. So that's inspiring, that's empowering. And so for us to be able to have that as a component of our gospel show continues to uplift and embrace our youth generation as well, and so I think that's an important piece of it. In order for us to be able to carry this torch, we have to pass it on to the younger generation. And so through our programming, through our opportunities, through our special events, we allow our youth to be encouraged, but also to be empowered to help us celebrate and honor this history.
Fantastic. And for the this platform is global, so I really encourage whoever listening to get more information. We will share the website later to have a little bit more idea of what you're doing, and also the information if they want to travel, or if they are in the US at that time, just to be able to attend and to participate as well. So that's very important. And I can imagine for you and your organization organizing this type of event, what does it represent to you? I mean, just personally, as you build something so important, something so inspiring.
Well, for me, people kind of ask me a lot of times, what is one of my greatest aspirations, things that I love to do. And I've always been great as being a change maker. I've also have been good at creating things just from an idea. I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi. And so I've had the opportunity to work on many projects that were just discussed in meetings. And then I had the opportunity to go out and create, and now they're remarkable award-winning projects. And so that's the same thing that I think about with this gospel event. It was just a conversation piece, over 5 years ago. And now we've had, as I mentioned, multiple Grammy award-winning artists on the sands of Galveston, Texas. And so that speaks highly to the organization. Our organization was started in 1992 by a wonderful lady by the name of Sue Johnson. And so her vision at that time was to create an opportunity for the youth, inner city kids, to come and have a place to learn. And if you remember, in the early 90s, I was graduating high school, but that was a tough time with gangs and you know, even rioting in LA and places like that. So her vision of this organization now allows us to be able not only educate and encourage youth. There's so many opportunities out there. We've had students that have learned how to become great artists through her programs. We've had students who have gone off to college and have become lawyers, and they had an opportunity to attend Freedom School. And so all of these things go back, and they're part of the full circle of the mission that Sue Johnson desired when she created this organization. And so it's about empowering and improving the community through art, through education and engagement. And so we continue to engage. I pride myself on trying to look for other ideas, other initiatives that will bring people together. As I mentioned, you know, the financial literacy events that we're going to have, even having events where people can come in and do a painting sip party, because then they get to laugh, hear music, socialize, but they're also creating a piece of art that they can take home, and it's a memorable piece about that experience that they had at the NIA Cultural Center. So going back to what we do with all of the events, it just reminds me that you can inspire people by your creativity. When you look at the artwork that people see in our gallery, they're inspired by the creativity of the artists that come in there and their vision, how they tell that story through that piece of art. And so for me, I want people to be inspired by the work that I do with the events. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of behind the scenes that go into making an experience a great opportunity for people. And so when they come and they join us at the Emancipation Gospel Celebration, I want it to be an experience. I don't want it to just be a gospel show. I want them to leave saying, I was able to see Byron Cage at the birthplace of Juneteenth. So now you're on sacred ground, because this is a historical place, but you're also being a part of history, to be able to say many years later, in June of 2026, I was in Galveston, Texas, the birthplace of Juneteenth, which is now a national holiday, and I got a chance to see Karen Clark Sheard, Byron Cage, and the Brown Four. I just want that to be a moment that people can look back and be able to celebrate and be able to share their pictures, their videos, their photos, and then help us tell the story.
Fantastic. And that's how, you know, that's how you create the awareness. That's how you create the, you know, the continue to create the history. And that's you keep everything alive. And especially for us being really far and not really knowing, you know, the history of the African American, it is always, you know, very good and inspiring as well to see, you know, what's been done and the legacy that keep, you know, building every single year. So we're gonna have another break, and we'll get back to the last part of this conversation. So don't go anywhere. I can see that we have someone watching live. So Amina is watching from South Africa, and it looks like she's enjoying the conversation, and she's been making a few comments, especially when we were talking about, you know, the younger generation. So Amina, thank you for being with us today. And if you have any question for Alex, please, you know, don't hesitate. So we will be back in a few minutes, and so don't go anywhere. See you later.
In today's global energy landscape, local content isn't just a policy, it's a strategic imperative. Local content, key enabler for energy projects in emerging markets, by engineer Dr. Mireille Tulakema, offers groundbreaking insights into how local participation can transform energy development. Discover how strategic local content approaches can, number one, is driving the economic growth. Number two is building a sustainable local capabilities. Then another one is creating a meaningful employment opportunities. And the last one is enhancing the project success and community engagement. Written by an internationally recognized energy expert, this book provides practical strategies for governments, investors, and energy professionals. Whether you're in energy policy, project management, or economic development, this book is your roadmap to understanding local content's critical role.
So we are back. We are back with Alex, and if you're just joining us, so welcome to this conversation. And just wanted to ask you, Alex. So obviously, there's been a lot done. The work that you're doing with NIA, and involving the broader African American community. So what is the legacy that you want to leave? What kind of legacy you want to leave, and what is the message that you want to leave us with today, as we um, finish this conversation on this platform?
Well, I mean, personally, for me, the legacy that I would like to leave is that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. As I mentioned earlier, I've had the opportunity to work on some amazing projects in Mississippi. I started out working in the musical area of tourism, which blues music originated in Mississippi, with a lot of the great names that you hear, from Robert Johnson to B.B. King, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf. And there's now a musical trail that spans not only in Mississippi, but around the globe in places that music has influenced. And so I'm glad to be able to say that I was a part of that great project. There's other projects that I had the opportunity to work on, but when I first came to Galveston, I was excited about meeting the people. And there's so many great people in the community that has done remarkable work. And they have become my family. They have become my friends. And so my legacy and what I want to be able to accomplish and want people to know is that a young guy from Mississippi came and found a new home, and he helped to tell the story. A lot of people now celebrate Juneteenth as a national holiday, but for many, many years, it was known to the citizens of Galveston and the state of Texas, because you had people like Representative Al Edwards, you had people like Pastor James Thomas, who all fought to make this history important. And so now we get to share this with people around the globe. I'm now talking to you, a citizen of Africa, but you're working in Australia. So that speaks volume to all of the pioneers and all of those champions of freedom that we acknowledge each and every year. So for me to be that vessel to help carry and tell the story and preserve and pay homage to the history, I hope my children are proud. I hope that my colleagues are proud. I hope that the citizens of Galveston are proud. And so it just really makes me want to continue to move forward with what we do and to be able to help continue to tell the story. So that's really what I want. I want people to be able to know that this is so important to our history, but it's also important to our future. Because if we don't learn our history, then history repeats itself. And we don't want to go back to the years of being enslaved, of being a prisoner through so many things that the world is now being involved with. And so I think it's important that we were able, I didn't learn this history when I was in my classrooms. It wasn't in our history books. And, we had that 1 month that we got to learn about our Black leaders, and that was in February. And so now we are able to tell this story year round, 365 days of the year at the NIA Cultural Center. And so as a part of my due diligence to the people that have paved the way for me to be in this position, I want to continue to help tell that story.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it is, when you said, you didn't learn it at school, it's nowhere. So it is important that we take ownership to, as Black people, take ownership of our own history and carry it on and share it, instead of having people doing it. You're waiting for people to do it for us. So very, very powerful and deeply meaningful conversation today. Thank you very much, Alex, for your insight, for your inspiration. And what I can see is that the Emancipation Gospel Celebration is actually more than an event. It is a movement, a remembrance, and resilience, and renewal for the African American community. And it also reminds us that freedom is not just a moment in history. It is a legacy that we must continue to honor, to protect, and to elevate, because otherwise, it gets buried, and it's very difficult. And through music, and you mentioned it, through music, culture, and community, it helps us to reconnect with our roots and rise to the future. So thank you very much for that. I don't know if you have a last message, particularly for our audience today, before we leave this platform, and we really want to know how we can people can connect with you and ask questions about the work that you're doing. Obviously, in such a short term, it's not always possible, and also direct them to the different, give your contact, and so that they can continue the conversation with you.
Well, first, let me say thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be on this platform and to be able to talk about NIA Cultural Center. It's an honor. It's an honor to help tell our story. It's an honor to share the story of Juneteenth in Galveston. And so I think that's the most important way. The other thing for me is that I want people to come visit us. Come visit us. We're right in the heart of Galveston, Texas, the birthplace of Juneteenth. We are located on the Strand. Our address is 2217 The Strand, and we're Suite 101. Like I said, they'll be able to see the Juneteenth historical marker right outside of our venue. They'll be able to see the 5,000 square foot mural, which is Absolute Equality, which talks about the history of Juneteenth past to present. They'll also be able to walk into our gallery and see some of the beautiful artwork that you see behind me from some of these amazing artists that help tell the story, not only about the people of Galveston, but around the country. And so I want people to come, help us honor, celebrate, empower, and build our community. And they can also visit us at NIA Cultural Center, niacultural.org. That's on the screen. They can follow us on Facebook at NIA Cultural Center. They can also follow us on Instagram at NIA Cultural Center. They can also go to our YouTube page and see great videos like this one that is being recorded today. So we're just inspired that there are opportunities to be able to help tell the story in places like Australia. This is a great tool to be able to be on this platform to help us share our message and to share our mission and our vision. And I just want to say thank you. And I hope that you guys come see us at NIA Cultural Center. We welcome you. And like I said, in Swahili, NIA means purpose. So our purpose is to inspire you to come to Galveston, Texas. And we hope to see you very soon.
Fantastic, powerful, and so you've heard it. go and visit, join, even if you're not able to make it in June, you can visit anytime during the year just to, talk to the team, the NIA organization team, and learn about, the history of the African American community. So thank you so much, Alex, again, for your insight today and for your time, your precious time. It has been a pleasure to have this conversation with you and learn a little bit more about this history that I personally didn't really know, and so it is a plus for me today to have been able to be exposed to such knowledge, and thank you for that. And for everyone watching, you now know that your story matters, your heritage matters, and you are the voice, that needs to carry it, and and you have to have a powerful voice to inspire the next generation to continue and pass the baton of your history. So don't forget that. And if you are watching later, don't forget to share, because like I always mention, I always tell you, it's not like in Vegas, everything that we talk about here, we share. And it is an important subject and an important inspiring content that we had today. So do share with your community, your contact. And last and not least, I just want to thank Amina again from South Africa, and we have also Dr. Geneva watching as well. Thank you for being with us, and don't hesitate to connect with Alex and to see. There's the website here to see the work that is being done by the NIA community organization. And you can ask questions, and I can connect you with Alex if but he gave us all the platform where you can actually connect. So thank you very much. I will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Show in about 2 hours. So we're having two shows this weekend. So don't go anywhere. Join us later. And again, thank you so much, Alex, for your time today.
Once again, thank you for having me. I failed to mention my email address, so I know we have some people online. If they want to send me a message, if they have questions for me directly, I can be reached at alex.thomas@niacultural.org. Once again, that's Alex, Alex.Thomas, THOMAS @niacultural.org. So send me an email. Ask any questions that you may have. And also, if you want information to be able to come and visit us, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to share that information. Thank you.
Fantastic. So thank you for everyone, and we will be back in a few hours, and be blessed.